Hey everyone, this is David and Parker with the Gellner team of Kidder Matthews. We wanted to make a video for all the college students out there, and especially the younger folks who are considering brokerage. We've been having a lot of conversations recently with individuals considering getting into brokerage for the first time, and we just thought, hey, why don't we make a video and kind of share a few thoughts on how we would think about it and maybe go about things. I certainly know when I got into brokerage, I knew no one and no thing. And so I think hopefully this video, if you're considering brokerage and entering commercial real estate, will be helpful. So let's start. The first thing I would consider, or if I'm thinking about getting into brokerage, a couple things off the top of my mind would be this. First and foremost, having the right mentality about getting into the business, especially if you're getting into the investment sales portion of the commercial real estate industry. It has much longer time frames to get an actual paycheck by far than like some of the leasing side. And then I also think, just from the conversations I've had, I tell folks, almost look at it like you're going to grad school for 2 years or however long grad school is. I didn't go to grad school. So look at it like that. I know, hopefully you're money motivated or driven, like very driven to get into the industry. You need that to succeed, but really look at it as, hey, my one goal or the one piece of advice that I could offer to you is focus on finding the environment and then the right person to try and team up with and add value to, so that you can learn this industry. That is the hardest part about getting into brokerage. You can certainly learn this by yourself. It's just gonna be a lot harder to do. And my suggestion would be, hey, go find a company and a broker or brokerage team that can really commit to training and sharing what they know. You really are gonna have a lot easier path if you can team up with someone, add value to them, and just learn the ropes that way and not have to bang your head against the wall and learn through trial and error. It's a lot more difficult.
On the mentality front, do you have any favorite books or?
Oh man, I have quite a few books. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is The One Thing by Gary Keller. I mean, it's kind of a staple keystone book for anyone in real estate. I think the biggest thing, and this is, again, we're retail investment brokers, so our business model is a lot different than, just the leasing category or primarily focused leasing brokers. Our business model is you got to be on the phone as much as you can and break through that barrier, and that is really the single indicator of success. Talking about that a little bit, the item number 2 that I would mention for individuals is don't focus so much on asset category. So, a lot of folks reach out and say, hey, I like apartments or I like industrial. I've heard you can make a ton of money. Certainly the last few years has been good to our industrial friends, but don't focus on that. Things ebb and flow. Go back to that first comment, which is, hey, focus on the environment, so the company that's going to support you and help you the most, but also the individual brokerage. You can make a lot of money and have a wildly successful career in any category in this business. And so I would really focus on those 2 items.
I agree, and I think going back to kind of what you mentioned on the team front, I think it's important when you're looking at, who could potentially hire you, is to flush out if that person's, their long-term business plan has team members added to it, or what that looks like. Because I think, when we teamed up as an example, we gave it a year, but your long-term goal was to expand your team. And then, together we can think 5-10 years in the future now, where, if you're with somebody who doesn't really want to have a team and they just want somebody to kind of pick up the slack, that might not be a fruitful relationship long term.
Totally. I would just say this is a long-term business with long-term people. Again, the transaction timeline, especially on the investment front, but even any front, give yourself 2 to 3 years, really get knowledgeable about the business, and most importantly, cement the habits that lead you to success, right? And those take years and years of repetition. The other thing, I guess the third point that I would mention, again, I keep repeating it and will keep repeating it, is this is a very long-term business with it just takes a long time to learn. So give yourself as much runway as you can, meaning I know it's tough if you're just coming straight out of college or, want to transition to this career, but, really try and have at least 12 months of runway with no money whatsoever. And then when you do become successful, this will play a part. Give yourself, always have at least a year plus of savings and runway so that if we do enter markets with some type of slowdown or cyclical in nature, you can weather these storms. And really, I truly believe there's no greater place for individuals to be with a high earning capacity than commercial real estate. It's also a very challenging career path, but it's really rewarding, not just financially. You're always learning. No day is the same. No deal is ever the same. No client is ever the same. And that makes it fun. And that makes it really enjoyable. So anything you would add?
I think on the maybe nuts and bolts side of it too is, when folks are asking me kind of what they should be doing to get their foot in the door, I've got a kind of couple things I tell everybody. One is pick up the phone and call whoever you're trying to get an interview with. Even if it's informational, I talked to, I think, 30 brokers before I finally got a job.
Yeah.
And brokers, you and I, everybody makes their money on the phones, and it's almost like a test to see who's willing to pick up the phone and leave us a voicemail, then follow up with an email versus just relying on emails or LinkedIn or something that's not the scary thing, which is picking up the phone. And then the other thing I always recommend to folks is at the end of every informational interview or just meeting, whatever it is, I'd always ask for 2 more people they think I should reach out to, because then it, one, multiplies, and second, you've just generated a warm cold call for your next one where, hey, David told me to give you a call, and they likely know David, whoever else it is, like him, and will return the phone call that much quicker. And I wouldn't be afraid to leave a couple voicemails a week apart, whatever it is too. I don't know how many voicemails we leave on a daily basis that we think nobody's listening to them, and 5 years down the line, that person calls us back, and I think it's the same. People get busy, don't return the phone call, and wouldn't be afraid to polite persistence and call them back.
100%. And if you're looking to get into the business, pretty much the main thing that everyone's looking for to decide if you're a good fit or not is just a massive desire to succeed. And so be tenacious about it. There's obviously nuance to that, and so learning that and doing that over a long period of time. But if you're in college right now and you're in your senior year, I would highly suggest just make a goal, whether it's once a week, try and connect with one broker in a market or even a state that you want to work, and just continue to have those conversations, foster those relationships, offer to buy people coffee, take them out to lunch after you've had a conversation with them, and just kind of try and build a relationship. So Parker and I, if you're listening to this and have any questions about the industry or want to talk more, we're here to help. We really believe in the commercial real estate industry and really have a value of wanting to make sure the next generation succeeds as best as they can. And we want to be helpful as we can to the next generation. So don't hesitate to reach out to us if you guys have any questions. Thanks.
I like it. Thank you.